Kids Camp every year is the funnest time of the year. And whenever we announce Kids Camp, we have like 1,000 volunteers that are ready to volunteer. And so we announce our first official Kids Camp meeting. You write threatening text messages, phone calls, everything. If you don't show up to this meeting, you're not going to be at Kids Camp. And so we have like 30 people show up to this first meeting. We're like, we can't take all these people.
And so my mom, the woman of faith that she is, she said no, everybody's going. And she believed in everybody. She knew that every leader would do a great job.
Tell the world that Jesus lives. Tell the world that.
We couldn't have been happier. We had everyone. We had musicians, singers, we had preachers, we had people who could work with kids, people who could do skits. So we had an awesome group of leaders, and we were happy with all of them. I remember specifically one of my favorite guys who came, one of my favorite leaders was DJ Bass. I like to call him DJ Roman. Anyway, so DJ Roman's like, there's always that kind of like awkward pause in between acts. Like, you know, the standard talent show little scenario, like the announcer comes out, now Mrs. whatever's gonna play the fiddle or whatever. We had none of that. Because in between acts, we had DJ Roman's just pumping it and everything and just like playing all this music, and so he totally added all this flavor and he was able to fill in. Also, we had Andre come all the way from PA.
And Asta from Tulsa?
Tulsa.
Yeah.
Asta came all the way from
all
Tulsa.
the nations.
But anyway, we had young leaders, and these are people that were in Kids Camp all their life. For example, every single leader this year was someone who had been in Kids Camp before. And so we finally created a self-sufficient system where there's kids at Kids Camp, and then they come out of the Kids Camp and they become leaders of this camp.
Yeah, it was just fun to have, because I mean, when we first started meeting, I don't think necessarily everyone was really as close and friends, like as much friends. And then towards the end, it was just like, all we wanted to do was really hang out together. Even though we did hang out with the kids, that was like, we kept saying kids, 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 but it brought such a friendship, such a closeness, and so it was awesome to see so many different people come together. Even though we knew of each other, we didn't, know each other. We didn't know how, like, each person interacts, with kids and how they minister, and it was awesome.
So we had 30 leaders show up. And our kind of fear was that we're gonna have like a million leaders and they're all gonna be just hanging out with each other, and there's gonna be like a few kids and all the kids are gonna be neglected. But it turned out that God answered prayer.
Yeah.
He used our faith, our little teenage and young adult, 20-something-year-old faith.
I actually distinctly remember when we broke 100. I remember coming into my mom's room and she was like, Marga, guess what? And she just she shows me the list and she's like, we hit 100, and then like I think maybe a few hours later, then we like even broke past 100. I think it was like 103 or something like that same day.
And the awesome thing is there was a bunch of little kids, and that's always a good sign that there are little kids. We had 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, so a bunch of little kids at this camp, and so that definitely worked out. And then we had a bunch of older kids. It's like we're breaking at the seams. There's too many little kids, and then there's like too many older kids. It was a blast. There were so many kids. We had to try to like split them up, like half of them at the fire, half of them in the gym, but they all wanted to be together in the gym and everything. So it's like we just let them be. But there were so many kids, and they were like all over, running around everywhere, and everything was under control. And so it was a really cool little experience.
Yeah, I think it was the first year that we had to have 5 groups of girls and 5 groups of guys. We've always had 4 groups, and it was always spread out evenly. But like he said, there was a lot of little kids. I think there was 2 little kids groups for both boys and girls. And it was awesome.
Okay, so every year we have to think about a theme for Kids Camp. I just remember random night I had this random dream about us doing a Kids Camp with survival skills, teaching kids to do survival skills where they're learning how to fold sleeping bags, making fires, and it was just like a random little dream. And so I just shared the dream with Aunt Leah, kind of joking, like, hey, let's do a theme called Survivor or something, teach kids survival skills. And it's like, oh yeah, maybe. 6 months later again, it's like, we're at kids camp and we're doing this survival. But actually, it worked out. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun activities we were able to do with the kids in the forest and everything. And one of our primary goals with kids camp is to get kids really dirty, and sticky, and smelly, so they're complaining. And that's where Margaret comes
Well,
in.
yeah, I mean, someone has to do the dirty work.
Yeah.
And I have taken it upon myself. And every year, you know, we have this forest game. And every year kids complain about this forest game. But every year they remember how dirty they got, because they remember the slime, they remember the well, this year it was the spaghetti.
Yeah. Cold
And
spaghetti.
the key was cold, slimy spaghetti. And kids think that I didn't have to get dirty, but you know, making these things, you can't stay clean.
Yeah.
And so I got down and dirty with them. And so while they're going through this, I would stand at the spaghetti station and make sure everyone would crawl under there, because hard work was put into, you know, hanging the spaghetti and making sure, you know, it was very cold.
Yeah. And then we got them really wet with water balloons,
Yeah,
so it's like,
because you want them like wet and dirty.
yeah.
Because who wants to leave kids camp clean all the time?
And they always ask, like, the kids come up to us and like, we want to get dirty. Like, could you make us get dirty? Could you make us get these nice jeans that mom just bought us? Could you make us get them dirty so that we could come home? They told us to do it, you know? So it's like, we serve the kids. That's why we're there.
Exactly. Serve the kids and also make sure they're dirty. You know? That's the bottom line of the forest game. It has to be fun, but dirty. I don't know. No, I remember when we were playing that game. I have a story about the game.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm talking.
Okay, we can't eat and talk at the same time.
This is a break.
Inappropriate.